Hi, I'm Jim McKenzie, relationship coach, ex-divorce lawyer and dad of 7. And this third episode of the podcast, we're going straight to the heart of what's making so many women feel like they're doing all the work, while their partner just coasts. And most importantly, we'll talk about what you can do about it. No drama or guilt, and without having to drag anyone to therapy. So if you've ever asked yourself, why am I the only one trying? This episode's for you. Let's get into it. Now, first off, emotional labour isn't a buzzword, it's your reality. Okay, let's name what's happening underneath that feeling of you being the only one trying. And that's called emotional labour. Now, that sounds like a scientific term or something you'd hear in a sociology class, but this is real. Emotional labour is where you're the one who senses tension in the room and tries to fix it. You're the one who remembers birthdays, schedules, and how your partner takes his coffee. You're the one who absorbs everyone's moods while stuffing down your own, and being the default emotional caretaker without backup. Over time, that invisible work starts to feel like a full-time job with no days off and no appreciation. Now, listen, I've worked with a client once who is called Lisa. Okay, she was a high-performing executive, 2 kids, married for 14 years, and everybody just thought she had everything going for it. Her life looked absolutely picture perfect. But when she came to me, she said, well, I feel like I'm holding up the roof of the house of this marriage, and if I step away, everything will collapse. That might sound dramatic, and I said, you're just being honest, because what she described was what I've heard from hundreds of women over the years. If I don't carry on and get this done, no one else will. Now, does that sound familiar? Now, this is where it gets really confusing, because your partner might not even see what you're doing. It's not because he doesn't care about you, but because emotional labour is invisible, it's intangible, and it's not noticed until you stop doing it. Now, most men are trained to believe, well, if everything's calm, everything's fine, she's okay. If you're doing a great job keeping the peace, he might actually interpret that as, oh, we're good, we're fine. But in the meantime, you're not fine. You're drowning, you've got quiet resentment, you're carrying the whole emotional weight of the relationship and wondering if anyone even notices. And the downside to this, the twist, is when you finally say, I can't do this alone, he might respond with confusion or defensiveness, because in his mind, nothing seemed wrong. So if you've ever thought, how can you not see how hard I'm trying? That's why. It's simply a matter of wiring. Men sometimes are not wired to notice what's not said. They scan for signs of danger, not disconnection. And so, unfortunately, in a strange way, your ability to carry it all and do it all, it might be backfiring. Now, I want to talk about a painful belief I often hear from women, which they say, I shouldn't have to ask. But these are myths that can keep you stuck, because let me tell you something hard. Yes, you shouldn't have to ask, but right now, you may need to anyway. And it's not because you're wrong or he gets a free pass, but because emotional leadership often starts with naming what's been invisible. And it doesn't mean you're mothering him. It doesn't mean you're doing it all. It means you're giving your relationship a shot at growing out of these unconscious habits that become a cycle. Now back to Lisa. One of her biggest breakthroughs came from a single shift in language. Instead of saying, you never support me, she started to say, I realize I've taken on the role of the emotion manager, and I don't want to do that anymore. That one shift from blame to clarity, it changed everything. And no, he didn't get that immediately, but he listened, and she stopped feeling crazy for wanting more. Now, this is where we start to get practical. It's hard to start a shift here without causing a fight. Now, if you're tired of carrying all this emotional burden alone and you want to reset that pattern without blowing up the relationship, this is where you start, and I give you the steps. Step 1, okay, name the pattern, not the person. Instead of saying, you never listen, try, we keep missing each other when we talk and I want to change that. In that way, you're naming a pattern, not launching an attack, and that opens the door without raising his defenses. The second step is to drop the pressure and keep the invitation. So an example here would be to say, I'm not looking for a full conversation, I just want 5 quiet minutes with you today to talk about how we feel. Keep it low stakes, because men have a tendency to shut down under pressure, but they respond well to clear, calm structure. Now, step 3 is to share the impact without shame. Here's another example. Say, when we go days without talking, I start to feel invisible and I really miss us. Now, by saying this, you're not blaming, you're sharing your emotional reality and giving him a way back in. You're keeping the door open. Now, these aren't scripts to memorize, they're general tools to try, and if one doesn't land, try another. All right? The goal is to lead emotionally without carrying everything alone. So you're probably saying to me at this point, all right, Jim, it sounds great in theory, but what if he still doesn't get it? Well, of course, it takes practice and it will take time. And even when you say things perfectly, he may not respond in the way you want. But don't regard that as a failure, because you're providing information. By that, I mean, if he won't engage even after you've communicated clearly and calmly, that tells you something about what you're working with. And you do have options, believe me. You're not stuck, but you need to find clarity. And one of the most powerful things I teach my female clients is this. You don't have to fix him, but you do get to decide what you're available for. You're not too much, okay, for wanting a real emotional connection. You're entitled to it. You're not needy for asking to feel seen and heard. You're a grown woman asking for grown-up love, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You're going to have to take some actions now. And let's learn this with something that you can actually start now. Okay, if you've got a pen and paper, or pause this, go and get one and write this down. Write down one emotional task that you're tired of carrying by yourself. Okay, write down one emotional task that you're tired of carrying by yourself. And that could be, you're always the one who initiates hard conversations. You're the one always keeping track of your family's emotional temperature. And you're the one who's always absorbing his stress without support. And when you've got that locked down, in a calm moment, say, I've been holding this and I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, there's no drama, you're just being honest. And if you need help how to say that clearly, I've got something for you. I've got a free guide that's called What He's Really Thinking But Won't Say. It's a free download. You can get it in the links to this video. It'll help you to understand what's behind the shutdown and give you scripts that lower the temperature and raise the trust. Okay, so go and get it. It's free, and it will give you a starting point that really encapsulates what I've been talking about. So finally, just remember this. All right, you do not have to carry the whole relationship emotional weight. You don't have to pretend everything's fine while you quietly fall apart. What you can do is lead with clarity, love, and strength, and still keep your integrity and feel like you. So I hope this episode has spoken to you and resonated with you. I do hope you'll subscribe. Leave a review, positive or negative if you wish. I'm happy to answer every single comment. Or share this with someone who needs to hear it today. If you want to go deeper, then there's free training on the website at relationshipsrebuilt.com, or you can book a call. And until next time, take care of your heart. And remember, you don't need permission to want more.